Pieter, aren't black voters brainwashed about the DA?
I think there could be some cases, but let me tell you why I don't think this is a mainstream problem. Because if our black voters were, brainwashed against the Democratic Alliance, I think they would have noticed it by now. The Democratic Alliance have had 30 years to prove their point to the majority of South Africans, and in every case they've had to do so, they failed to do so. So I think that, this party has proven their point, right? The values they hold and the policies they want to implement are flawed and failed.
Good morning, guys. Good morning once again. Welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Please do understand that I'm not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of our beautiful country. His name is Pieter Kriel. When I say Kriel, I think of the Kriel of AFRIFORUM. What a contrast between the two men. And the youngest one seems to be making more sense than the older one. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to share with you the video clips of Pieter Kriel, the activist in South Africa. He's speaking facts, but I got a bit worried when he said all white people are racist, because I got my friends and family, whom I forgot what their skin color was. I don't remember their skin color, but now, though Trump attempted to remind me, I've gone back to remembering, because these people, I live with them, we spend time together, we do a lot of things together. So I don't know. I'm not saying he's wrong there, but then again, I'm uncomfortable with that. I'm uncomfortable with that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you his video clips. But the most important one, he's saying to those Afrikaners who moved to the US as refugees that you did not run from persecutions. From being persecuted, guys, you ran from equality, because black people in South Africa are not calling for superiority but equality. So I really like this boy. So what I'm going to do right at the end, I'm going to share the screenshot of his X account, so that if you are interested in following him, you're going to follow him. No, he did not pay me. We don't even know each other like that. So I just want to share, because he is the voice I'm asking from the Democratic Alliance. Why are you silent? That's the thing. The Democratic Alliance is silent against the things that I would love to see the Democratic Alliance speak against, like your AFRIFORUM's actions, like racism, like going right at the core of racism and try and dismantle it. It is going to be difficult for black people to fight against racism, because we did not start this. Black people have no history of the apartheid government against the people of color. So what I'm asking is, those who have the history and have the voice and have the privilege to be heard, please do voice it out. And that's what this Pieter Kriel also says sometimes. So, okay, guys, I am not going to be coming back with more commentary. I'm just going to be leaving you watching these video clips of Pieter Kriel, and he is a nightmare to any racist mind.
To the 50 Afrikaners who fled to the US, calling themselves refugees, you are not refugees. You are just a case study of white flight dressed up as martyrdom. You're not escaping violence, you're escaping equality. South Africa didn't chase you away. You ran. Yes, South Africa is one of the most violent countries in the world. Yes, brutality exists. But let's be honest, violence affects all communities, not just white farmers. Black, colored, Indian, and yes, white people are all targets of a national crime crisis. What we have is a breakdown in safety, not a white genocide. This is not ethnic cleansing, it's criminal collapse, and running to the US won't fix it. You are part of a 7% minority, but somehow still manages to control over 70% of the wealth. That is not persecution, that's privilege on a guilt trip. And let's be real, if we tried to relocate just half of the Afrikaans population, it It would take decades, billions in logistics, and you'd still end up culturally homeless in a country that don't want your apartheid baggage. You're not brave, you're not victims. You're scared of a world where you don't get to be in charge, and that makes the rest of the Afrikaans community cringe because you make us look weak. South Africa is broken, and it's our problem to solve. So if you don't have the spine to do so, stay gone. Every white South African is racist. Every single one. Including you. Including me. We were born into a racist country, raised by racist systems, taught by racist textbooks, and disciplined by racist norms. Unless you've been consciously deprogrammed, that requires pain, effort, and education, you are still operating from a racist framework. Having black friends doesn't erase your racism. Voting for black politicians. No. Sleeping with someone of another race? Ha! Still racist. Whiteness isn't just calling someone a slur. It's the silent belief that whiteness is neutral and everything else is different. I don't see color while bleaching your hair and contouring your face. You see color just fine. You just don't want to deal with what it means. The entire education system would collapse overnight if we taught the truth. Apartheid wasn't resolved, and whiteness is still centered. Your skin color isn't the problem. Your silence is. Your comfort is. Humanity expresses itself in shades, and racism denies that expression. South Africa, we're still living in the lie. White people are racist, and not because they are evil, but because they were raised in racist systems, rewarded by racism, and defended by systems built on it. You are not the exception just because you are nice. You are the product. And when the system gets challenged, fragility explodes. That is why progress dies in the classrooms. In 2023, over 36 US states banned honest history because truth shatters the superiority myth. And in South Africa, try discussing land restitution without a riot or denial. This isn't emotion, it's psychology. Fragility is protection. And men, we are the worst. Studies show men, all races, are statistically more fragile, more reactive, more threatened by facts than women are. And we confuse discomfort with injustice. And the superior man can't be educated because education requires humility. And that is why my work offends you, because I'm not here to entertain. I'm here to dismantle. White guilt is becoming useless, and not because the past doesn't matter, but because feeling bad has become a substitute for not doing good. Yes, poor white South Africans are tired of being told how privileged they are. And rightfully so. You can't feed your children on colonial shame. But here's the truth. Acknowledging a crime is not the same as accepting blame. The system was rigged. It favored whiteness. That is a fact, not a feeling. But of course, if your take is guilt and not cooperation, then you've missed the point entirely. Because today's black and white poor have more in common than the politicians keeping them there. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't a call for revenge. This is a call for repair. Black South Africans aren't asking for superiority, just equality. But to the historically privileged, equality feels like oppression. And until we admit that and work together, we're just trading chains for fences.